Howdy, y'all. I'm Mr. Holga.
And I'm Todd Puckett.
And this is Don's Used Photo Equipment.
Yes.
So, another exciting video.
That's what
They're always exciting, guys. They are always exciting.
Exciting episode.
I was actually talking to some photo buddies today because I did the second Saturday walk. So, I like to say, hey, Clint, Doug, Scotty, and Michelle. Hadn't met Michelle before, but great. Went walking around, had a great time. So they say they love the videos. They've never left a comment though. That's kind of strange. They've never left a comment. I know we're supposed to be
suspicious about
we're supposed to get directly to the point of our videos, but you know, sometimes we like to have a little fun because I like to also mention, if I could, that I have 27 subscribers to the Mr. Holga channel, and still I haven't had a single video.
Yeah, when you reach 100.
When I reach 100.
You're going to put a video.
73 more subscribers to the Mr. Holga channel, and I will make a video. So, guys, if you want me to go off in an adventure, having a video, all that kind of good stuff, I need 73 more of you to be dedicated to this project. So anyways, but today...
Well, and while you're at it, you know, tell your friends and like, subscribe to here too.
Absolutely.
Because,
share this video.
Yeah, we're creeping up. We got to the point where I hoped we would have been in December.
So this is a right in time. We're always doing things right at the right time. And so right now it is summer.
Summer? Well,
it feels like summer. Not technically summer yet, but it feels like summer.
But most importantly, it's vacation time.
That's right. It is vacation time, and it's time to get out. It's time to travel the world, and it's time to go shooting, right?
Yeah. Different locations.
Right. As a matter of fact, when this video comes out, I'm actually going to be coming back from a vacation, so which is kind of cool. And yes, these things that we're about to talk, I'm probably going to be doing.
They apply to vacations year-round. Every time.
Right. So you actually had somebody in here from New Zealand today.
Yes.
Was it it was New Zealand, because he actually had to ask.
I did. I was trying to figure out if it was a down under accent
or down over.
Down across the pond.
Okay.
Across the pond or down under. And she said New Zealand. Well, I said, so next door to down under.
Right.
Yeah. And she was in visiting and heading back, but dropping off film here.
Right.
Which is, again, part of the vacation thing.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you go somewhere and shoot, see if you can't get your film processed there. Locally. So therefore that you're not having to battle with TSA coming in and running it through scanners and just frying the heck out of it.
That is something we're talking about.
Things like that are what we're going to be covering today.
Yes. But not to get us too far off the subject, you also had another person in here who had very poor, I'd say poor, not very strong English skills. I think she was from Japan.
Yeah.
And she's in here buying film, right?
Right.
Oh, no, she was getting film developed. She was getting film developed.
Developed and buying film. 2 out of the 3 for the trifecta.
So cool.
So 2 out of 3 of the trifecta, yes.
So travel. We're talking about travel today, guys. So I'm going to let you know, and we've discussed this many times, and I probably suggested you guys, because we actually had a great video on not getting your film scanned by the TSA because of the new scanners they have out there. That does far more damage. It's not the old X-ray scanners of past. It's newer technology, and that newer technology is a little bit rougher on the film.
It destroys all film.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the ISO. It doesn't matter anything. It destroys everything.
Right.
So yes.
Yeah.
And they're peppered throughout, so there's no real way of knowing.
You won't know which one's which, and the TSA doesn't want you asking questions.
No, do not ask questions. That is a no-no.
Is that one of those scanners that's going to kill my film? No, don't ask.
Because someone who actually worked at an airport sort of talked about that and had extra people called to come over. And
they will start asking you more questions than you want. Well,
and you have to answer
we need to take
questions.
A closer look inside your bag.
Yes. So don't do that. That's a no-no.
Well, fortunately for me, I've got a TSA PreCheck number, so so whenever I fly, I can go through the pre-line here, which means I don't have to take off my shoes, I don't have to pull my computer out of my bag, and I don't have to go through the full body scan. I can just go through a metal detector. However, my normal bag still has to go through their little X-ray thing right there. Right. And what I do is I take all of my film and any film camera. So, for example, the Rito ultra wide and whatever, because it had film in it at the time, or the Rito 3D, if it has film in it, I put everything in a great big Ziploc baggie. And before I cross no man's land of the metal detector, I say, would you please hand check this for me?
Hand check this.
Hand check this for me.
And in the U.S., they are supposed to do that.
And you know what my results are so far?
Yep.
100% every time they do it.
Yeah.
They do not complain at all. I mean, it might take an extra few minutes, a few pleases and thank yous on my end, but I've never had anybody grumble because of it.
Now, overseas, it's maybe totally different.
Oh, really?
But here in the U.S., overseas, it's whatever their rules are.
Well, that is true. So, but I've got really good.
The one time I visited overseas, I went to a country that had heavy security, and I had film in my camera.
Checkpoint Charlie.
Oh, well, no, different. But much more thorough in their checking.
Right.
And they made me take the lens off the camera and then cock and fire the camera.
Right.
So they could see into that the camera actually worked. And I said, but it's loaded. And then I thought about it. I said, they don't care.
They don't
They
care.
don't care.
You're going to waste a shot. You're
going to waste a shot, and that's it. So I went ahead, shot it, and put the lens back on. They checked the lens and everything. I mean, they thoroughly checked the camera.
Right. So tip number one, put your film into a baggie all together. Make it as easy and as convenient as possible. Right. Don't, if you can, don't unwrap your film. So, for example, if your 120 film is still in the little packages, don't unwrap and think you're just going to make your situation work. Packaged up stuff will fly through there because they won't unwrap it or anything like that for you.
So if you get things that are still like this,
if it's in the box and it looks like it's production, they're not going to mess with it.
It's going to be a lot easier to go through.
But even at the Portra 400 you have over there in the 5-pack, so those are still individually wrapped. Leave them individually wrapped.
Yes, don't go opening it up.
Don't go opening them. You're creating more trouble.
Yeah,
than
you're
it's worth.
creating confusion and caution. Now, again, of course, whenever you shoot it and it's exposed film, it's going to be and hopefully you folded your 120s.
Because you're a pro. You're a pro filmographer.
Shoot it like a pro.
Shoot it like a pro.
And so those are hopefully helpful hints to make your trip a little bit easier. But before you even get going on that trip,
before
let's back up.
Let's back up a whole step. So we just skipped right over a step.
It's actually a lot more interesting topic than we probably led on to believe. But what's interesting
who doesn't like to go on vacation?
Yes, and who doesn't want their film totally screwed up?
I don't want my phone screwed up. It's bad enough that I can do it all on my own.
My dad had his 4x5s totally screwed up. They opened it up and they checked through everything, thus ruining all of his 4x5 exposed shots.
Not great.
That's why we say get it processed where you are. But whenever you're getting ready for your trip, and this is an interesting thing, which with not only did I have somebody from New Zealand visit, but I also now have an airline pilot from Australia who flies to DFW. That's his regular route. And he came in and bought film. And he says, this will be my film stop whenever I fly to DFW airport because the film is so much cheaper here than in Australia.
Ooh, interesting.
And he goes, now I can buy film here.
And take it home?
Take it home.
Ooh, even better.
And save money. And so he has his own little checkpoints that he has to go through, and he still has to go through all the checkpoints. But again,
he's going to have it hand checked,
and he's going to buy it here and take off and to go home with it.
Right.
Now, whenever you are here and you're going somewhere, come in, buy your film here, because then that way you know that you have a place to get film and that you can have your film before you take off instead of getting somewhere and trying to find it. Now, that
is true, and that's going to be hard because obviously it's not at every drugstore anymore. You can't. Not. I don't even know if you can get it at Walmart. It's just
some Walmart.
It is just not that available.
Right, and so if you have a place where you go and you go a lot, you may have somewhere that you go to, and that you can get it. But avoid all those issues. Come by, pick it up here at Don's.
Right here at Don's.
I'm not prejudiced or biased or anything.
No, but you should come here.
At Don's. And put it in a baggie it up, and take it and hand hand it to them.
Handshake. So let me add one more thing to that as well.
Yeah.
Don't stick it in your regular luggage either, because that's also going through an X-ray. Whether you know it or not, all luggage goes through an X-ray, and that one's going to go through the same kind of X-ray just the same. I mean, that's where they probably find most of their most interesting things. It's like if you check something you're not supposed to check without telling them that, you know. Literally, you really need to put it in a baggie. You need to make sure it bypasses, and the only way you can do that is to watch them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is a very important first stop. Buy your film at Don's, go to the airport, take off.
Right, hand check it.
And then, whenever you get somewhere and you shoot your film, if you can do a little Google search and see if there's not somewhere that can process it while you're there. If you're going to be somewhere a week or so.
Well, that would be fun if you were there for a week.
You know, for a while. And we actually have people who come here that are traveling here from other states.
Yeah.
And they will drop film off because they did a little research and say, hey, where can we get film, our film processed before we head home? They'll come here, fill out the form, and then if it's in the U.S., the continental U.S., Lone Star Darkroom will mail it to them.
They will. There's a couple. Well, Lone Star Darkroom is a great example, but there are some other photo labs that will mail the film to you.
They're not the only ones, so others will. So that way you can avoid the airport again.
Well, you don't have to worry about them ruining your film a second time.
And it's also, you can just get it, you clear your conscience of it and say, whenever you get back home, it's going to be in the mailbox eventually.
Or the fun part of it, you know, you've already started the developing and scanning process. It's like you'll have your stuff sooner. It's like, you know, it's time to get home and settle. And, you know, and just a couple of days later, it's like, bing, I've got film. It's like, ooh, this is cool.
Go. That's exactly right. So that helps with the process of returning. So here, again, drop by Don's. Don's
right here.
Not because we are biased.
You have film?
I have film. And I have a means of processing.
He knows a few people.
I know some people, and I have a whole list of people I know.
And I've met.
They're on my good list.
They're on the good list.
Yeah,
not on the naughty list.
They're not on the naughty list.
'Tis not the season.
But it's just, again, it's something that people have done, and it's people from New York, Houston, L.A., San Francisco, all over basically have dropped off their film, and had it held back to them. For your vacation, that helps you just get a lot of little stresses off your mind.
Yes. So another tip, though, I am going to advise as much as possible. I know it's not always possible, but try to make sure your cameras are empty of film, because in case, you know, I know that the testing and all that kind of good stuff that happened. But if the cameras were empty, to open them up, that would probably, if asked, that would be really convenient for them. Like I said, I have put the pinholes and the Rito cameras in the baggie, and they have swabbed them. But you know, they very well could have opened them too. I mean, they could have ruined the entire thing. Just thinking,
load your film when you get there,
if you can.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Now, you've recently gone on a trip, not a vacation, but a trip.
Well, it was just like a weekend. I went to the wedding of Tyler and Abby Roman, and that was up in Estes Park, Colorado. Estes Park. Now I had been there one time when I was a kid.
Estes Park.
What
connects with Estes Park?
So we're trying to make a connection here. Has it something to do with the shirt I'm wearing? Maybe.
I would think so. There's a strong possibility. This is another interesting thing. Plan your film for your trip.
Yes, and let's leave that one for a surprise now. But the right film for the right trip, and I definitely had the right film, and we're gonna get to that part of it.
Yep.
So I was up there for the wedding, had a great time. If you've never been to Estes Park, think about it. It's a very quaint little kind of ski, kind of summery type town. A very nice little downtown area.
Yeah.
Very picturesque, mountains.
Beautiful, gorgeous, from everything I've heard about it.
Easy to walk, super friendly people. It's a great place. It really is a nice place to visit. It's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away from Denver, up in the mountains. So you're going to be a little light on oxygen.
Yeah. I cannot drive on roads that have sheer drop-offs.
I tell you what, my second place daughter was actually driving us from the airport to the place we were staying, and it was dark, and we had just had, unfortunately, something a little too greasy to eat, and all those winding roads, and I came this close to giving up a 30-plus year no barf record. I so badly wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, please, dear Lord, make this end. Just kill me now.
Kill me now. Take me now.
Kill me now.
Yeah.
So I went to Estes Park, and I've got pictures to show, guys. Now, I was up there for a wedding, and because I'm not the photographer, I decided to have a lot of fun, and I only brought film cameras with me.
Yes.
I brought my Nikon F6, which I have never done a review on that for you guys yet. I'm gonna have, spoiler alert, I love it. It's a great camera. I took my my first Holga, Old Faithful. That's just a standard Holga 120. I had the Rito 3D. I shot that one as well. And I had my Ondu pinhole 6x6.
All right. You had a collection.
I had a collection of only film cameras. I was loaded up, tons of film, and I had it in the baggie ready to go. Yep. I was having a great time. So let's talk about Estes Park first. And so I'm gonna show Todd pictures, but I'm gonna put these pictures on the screen for you guys.
I won't look at his password number.
That's not the big deal. So Estes Park is first, and you can click on that one. There's my second place daughter. You can just start with her.
Okay, yeah, in the airplane. There we go.
So, having a great time. So it's actually my first place daughter, my second place daughter, my second place son-in-law. Mini Holga is with us. So we're traveling as a fivesome.
Oh, my word.
And so you're looking at elk.
Elk.
So, like any good photographer, I got up.
You got their best in too, didn't you?
Well, they're all giving so there's a little bit of a story to this one. Okay, so I got up early and I started walking around. By the way, it's cold. It's in Dallas, it was like in the 70s, but up in Estes Park in the morning, it was like in the high 30s.
Oh,
so
brisk.
Very brisk, but still not so that you want to wear a parka.
Right.
So I'm walking around and I see I'm walking around town. I see a stream. In the middle of the stream, I see an elk. I'm like, oh, I've got to get over there.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is all I have is my 35 millimeter lens with my F6. Not enough lens. So I'm like, okay, I've got to get closer, right? But as I'm getting closer, I notice off in the distance, there are some more elk. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to follow those little paths. So these elk are actually going across the golf course, and they're eating the golf course. And I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the elk.
We're here, they're in the rough.
Right, they are. Until I eventually see a sign
that says
elk can be dangerous. And I'm like, good sign. I'm going to start backing off now.
Yes. They are animals in the wild.
Well, they are wild animals, and they're probably at least 300 pounds each. So that's a nice street cleaner. First thing in the morning. It's a very clean town. That would, the street cleaners out there kicking up some dust.
Bighorn Drive.
Having a great time. It was it's a very cute little town.
Longigan's Bar and Grill.
We did a little bar hopping later.
It was. There you go.
Some nice mountains, some nice clouds.
A unique, different type of Starbucks.
Well, that has to blend in, right? Get it? Blend? It happens. It happens, guys.
There's a Safeway behind it. Safeway to blend.
Well, I went to the Starbucks, and because I knew Mama Holga was in town as well.
Yeah.
I took a selfie of me and I sent it to her. I said, "Come find me," because I knew she wanted some Starbucks. She didn't catch the hint that she could have just come in and because she was in town as well, but we didn't travel together.
Yeah. Now here we go.
So second place daughter, second place son-in-law, and Mini Holga.
Mini Holga.
Yep.
Just a typical street scene.
So now here we have pinhole pictures. So these next ones are black and white. I brought the Ondu with me. 3
views. Yeah.
So I
How
did.
Long?
I most of these were pretty quick. I would say less than 10 seconds.
All right.
I mean, it was a lot of light.
Yeah.
But so we stayed in a little place. It was, I would say, a quarter of a mile from downtown, so it was very walkable. Yeah. So this what you can't see in the back of this one is that the Stanley Hotel, which we're going to be talking about soon, is so far in the background.
Right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just typical homes with a
These are all these quaint little houses and
with
lots
a big,
of
steep,
pine trees.
With big steep roofs.
Now, what do you see here?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Listen, guys, if you have a film camera, you have to photograph Bigfoot. Right?
Absolutely.
How can you let Bigfoot go without
You got proof of Bigfoot.
I
right
do.
Here. Proof of Bigfoot.
I do. So it was Estes Park. It was Bigfoot weekend.
Bigfoot is very patriotic.
Bigfoot weekend.
Yeah.
So they had it. They had this entire downtown like little carnival fair type thing about Bigfoot.
That's exactly right. And Bigfoot's patriotic.
So I don't know if it's ever the first week.
There you go.
And there was more than one actual Bigfoot hanging around.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know if it was always Bigfoot weekend, the first weekend of April, but it was actually kind of really nice.
Rocky Mountain tops.
So that poor gentleman lost all his fluids in his radiator.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Just right there.
That Suburban was going nowhere.
Yeah,
But it almost looks like the officers are posing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's the police. That's the local police.
Well, it was like only 4 lanes, and he's now taking up one of the lanes.
Oh, my word.
So traffic was now backing up. That's my ride home. No, that's the pinhole.
Pinhole.
The pinhole, and I think the next one's going to be pinhole as well.
Undo.
Oh, yeah. Now that's a 30-minute exposure with the undo, and so obviously we're eating before the flight.
Yep, townhouse.
And that's the last one for that one.
Yeah, there you go. See, now the thing with vacation trips is photos, memories.
Sharing as well.
Memories. That's always a good part of the whole trip. I remember growing up, going on trips, taking pictures, and then my dad always took slides. So we'd sit in the dark room with the slide projector going, with the images going across, and people would come over that either went with us on the trip or been with us on trips before, and we'd sit there and just, oh yes, and then we'd sit there and tell stories about what the pictures reminded you of on the trip.
Right. I was thinking one of these days that we should have an episode on slides and actually show slides. That would be kind of funny.
All right.
So that was part one.
That
was part 1 of 3 for this lovely experience. So you guys are getting to share this with me. By the way, the pictures you're being shared with right now have not been shared with the bride and groom at all.
Oh, my.
So they're going to have to watch the video.
Yeah. That'll get us a couple of views.
You should go tell them to watch. You should go tell Tyler and Abby to go watch the video.
2 people watching.
2 more.
2 more.
As Todd alluded to, and I've already said, the fun part for me in Estes Park is the Stanley Hotel.
Yes.
And you guys may or may not know that the Stanley Hotel was Stephen King's inspiration for The Shining.
Yes.
So they didn't,
and also
which was called the Overlook Hotel at the time. So in the book. So I don't believe this hotel was used for the filming, but it was the inspiration for it. And it does have a creepy vibe to it. And so creepy, my first place daughter and I, we actually went on a ghost tour of the hotel. And there was at least a dozen different stops talking about ghosts who haunt the Stanley Hotel. And so as you can see, it's very beautiful, very picturesque.
And yes. And is that Stanley? Stanley?
I'm assuming so. Now, Stanley as in Stanley's steamer. Because there is a Stanley steamer car in like the lobby that you can go see.
Oh.
And apparently the ghost of Stanley can be seen in his car periodically.
That is actually kind of cool.
So here we're inside. Just on the other side of this picture, that's where the car's sitting. Unfortunately, it was backlit. It didn't come out very well.
There you go.
So this is me. I'm doing a selfie in the mirror of the Stanley steamer.
That's exactly right.
And as I was saying, so I've taken my picture and my first place daughter's picture. It's like if you're going to go to a haunted hotel, you should steal your own soul to take it home with you.
Exactly. Now, the thing of it is that all the people that are in there, are they real people or are they ghosts?
I'm going to leave that up to everybody to decide.
Did you get photobombed by ghosts?
So here is a creepy elevator.
Yeah.
Obviously ghosts ride the elevator up and down. It moves on its own.
1909.
Otis, and
it does move. It moves on its
own. Well, they say that it's supposed to be on, but it will sometimes close its doors and go somewhere else, and that's not with somebody operating under.
Because this is one that you have to be inside and
and you have to manually operate on the inside.
Manually operate that one.
Yeah.
Wow. There we go. Now this is reminiscent of the bar scene in the movie.
Well, if you look right here in the middle, this is also another selfie because I've got me in the mirror.
Yeah. You're hidden behind one of the taps.
It's a really nice hotel, and had I known we could have stayed there, I probably would have stayed there because it's a really cool.
Absolutely.
I like it a lot. And it was only, I would say, oh, there's Mini Holga.
Yep.
I would say it was only about a half a mile from downtown, so it was very walkable, which is nice.
Yeah.
It was a little bit higher up on the mountain, all beautiful.
Now here we come to the part. This is the planning your...
He's finally hit the reason why I'm wearing this shirt and why I took the right film with me.
Planning your film for your trip.
Right. So
now you're at the Stanley Hotel.
We're at the Stanley Hotel.
The inspiration for The Shining.
The inspiration.
Movie, The Shining, in the book.
Right.
And what is one of the words that you see painted on a mirror?
REDRUM.
REDRUM.
So my first place daughter and I, we decided not to go to the rehearsal. Instead, we went on a ghost tour of the Stanley Hotel. And at that point, I loaded up Old Faithful, my Holga 120, with REDRUM 120.
REDRUM 120.
And so I shot a dozen or so shots.
Yes.
And it looks cool, doesn't it?
Yes. It's the REDRUM film at Stanley Hotel.
It's the perfect film for the perfect occasion. And then after I was done, because I took the REDRUM sticker that the film was, and I actually stuck it on the back of my camera. And then I pulled the film out and I showed it to my first place daughter, and she goes, "Did you buy that in the gift shop?" Because in the gift shop, as you can see,
right over there. Oh, yeah.
In the gift shop, there's a bunch of REDRUM paraphernalia to buy.
Drink shots.
So my first place daughter is asking me, she goes, "Did you buy that in the gift shop?" It's like, no, they're not selling film at the gift shop.
No.
Not at all.
They're not. But he came where and bought the film?
I bought it here.
At Don's.
I took it with me because I was prepared.
Knowing that you were going on this trip.
I didn't know I was going on a ghost tour, but I knew I was going to shoot the hotel with REDRUM.
Yeah.
And that's me and the tour guide.
All right.
I believe her name was Elizabeth. Very good tour guide.
Yeah.
She asked for donations at the end to help feed her husband or her cat. I forget which. But as all tour guides do.
Yeah. They work on tips.
She got paid, but then you're right, they do work on some tips.
Tips. And so you're going to send her photos, and that's your tips?
Well, so we took the one picture, and of course she said, well, let's try that one again. I'm like, no. One shot's all you get.
This is film. This isn't digital.
And it was the end of the roll.
Yeah.
So it was the end of the roll. So you're not getting another one.
Yeah. So it was totally the end. So vacation, destinations, planning film to take on the trip.
Which was the biggest question of the day, because here we are in Estes Park, Colorado, and none of us knew why we were in Estes Park, Colorado, because the groom's family was not from Estes Park, the bride's family is not from Estes Park, and it wasn't till the rehearsal dinner that I actually asked the question and got the answer.
Why are we here?
Apparently, exactly. And I'm asking because I'm like sitting at their table. Actually, my second place son-in-law, he said something, and I ended up having like one too many margaritas. I'm like, challenge accepted. So I started table hopping, and I was asking these important questions. And the entire reason why we were there is because that's where Tyler and Abby said that they loved each other. Not Estes Park, but Colorado per se. They stumbled upon Estes Park to get married. And I tell you what, after you see some of these pictures, you'll say, I can see why they got married.
It's gorgeous city.
It is really gorgeous.
It is a gorgeous city.
So I was the only one with a camera taking any photos of note during the rehearsal dinner. And there is the future bride and groom.
That's it.
The night before. That is Tyler and Abby.
Soon to be Mr. and Mrs. Tyler Roman.
Right. Well, they're all going to be labeled the same thing.
Gotcha.
Right. So, and that is my first place brother and his lovely wife, Stephen and Lori. That is the new in-laws for Tyler. That is Jeff and Mary Becker with their son, Evan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know all that, guys. Actually, it's written down right there. So that's Mama Holga and her husband Tom. So if you ever see somebody who looks like that, just realize that's Mama Holga.
Yeah, Mama Holga.
There's no sneaking in, Mom. Now, unfortunately, the rest of the names, I know we've got best men and bridesmaids and different things like that. I don't have everybody's names. So I was introducing myself as Great Uncle Mike, and the next day I was getting, "Hey, Great Uncle Mike." And then I heard one of the other uncles come over to me, and he goes, "What do they call you?" I said, "Great Uncle Mike." And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm Great Uncle Dave." I said, "Yes, you are." I don't know. Like I said, but I do know this is obviously that's the groom. That's his best man. That's Tyler. That's Tyler. The two Tylers. How could I not take a picture of two Tylers?
You can't. You got to.
Now that's the bride with all her bridesmaids.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So all of these were shot with Holga. Unfortunately, you're going to see them. I have cropped them the way I don't like cropping Holga pictures because you lose a lot of the vignetting. That's Mama Holga's husband, Tom. That is the ring bearer right there sleeping.
Oh man.
He is
sacked out.
And as a matter of fact, I think he had to be carried down the aisle to deliver said rings.
Because he was...
No, he was awake by then.
Okay.
But he was one of those, you try and put him on the ground, and the ground is lava, so the legs are up. He's like, I'm having nothing to do with this. That is my brothers. This is the father of the groom and my other brother.
My other brother?
My other brother.
Larry.
Oh, Daryl.
Daryl.
And that's the groom with all of his best men. Kind of look like they're gangsters, don't they?
Yeah.
You need some of that, some Tarantino music in the background.
Absolutely.
Those are the flower girls. One, of course, is Minnie Holga. Now this is the bride's side, but you know what? Those chairs in front of them, they look like on a ride from Six Flags, don't they? Everybody hold on. Here we go.
Exactly. There we go.
Father of the bride. That's right. Jeff Becker. Now that is the scene of the mountains that was actually behind them while they were getting married. You're going to see this photo and you're going to say, yes, I understand why they got married in Estes Park.
It's gorgeous.
This was actually a very nice wedding venue where they had the venue, the getting ready place, and the reception all at once. You didn't have to drive anywhere. So yeah, that's the first kiss. That's them walking out. So hey, they're married at this point, right?
That's it.
You know, the rest of this is just some party stuff.
Yep.
Second place daughter and second place husband. Sorry, Shay.
He's in there going, what?
How did I get this? We drank far too much the night before. My brother and his wife.
Selfie.
I think that is Great Uncle Dave. Or David. I'm sorry. I don't mean to shorten somebody's name. A first dance. A first gotta have the first dance. After that, everybody just starts dancing.
Yeah.
But you know, even with a Holga camera, you know, you can take some nice photos. Some of these are super sharp, right?
Yeah, some are green.
Some are grainy, some are not. But you know, it is what it is. They're all great memories.
It's vacation wedding pictures, and you're not the official photographer. You're having fun.
I'm not. So, and the funny part, or at least I thought it was very funny. So they had some really professional photographers, two of them, and they each had like the leather straps, and they had the holsters and then the cameras, and they were just ready to go left and right. I had my Holga in my hand. I walked by them. I looked at them. I said, amateurs. I went and sat down.
How did they take to that?
Well, they kept like, they really want to see these photos. They want to see what I did with them because, you know, I shot some of the same subjects they did.
Yeah.
Now, out of politeness.
Yeah.
I stayed out of their way because obviously they're professionals. They're getting paid. They don't need Great Uncle Mike getting in the way, mucking up their shot. So I was constantly aware of where they were and trying to get my shot.
Yeah.
My goal is to wrap these up in some way. I might put them in like a quick little book for like a what's that place? Not Blur, but the other place, Shutterfly. I think Shutterfly does some quick books.
I don't
just
know.
To throw in some pictures and give it to the bride and groom and
Very
say,
cool.
There you go. So I had a great time, guys. You too can have a wonderful time shooting film on your vacation.
Absolutely. And not having it ruined at the airport.
Not having it ruined. I had it checked both going and coming home.
Yep.
Which was another fun thing because they ended up canceling our flights the night before. It was the weekend that a certain American Airlines, I'm not saying it was American Airlines, essentially had computer glitches or weather issues. We got on a different flight.
Yeah. So there you go. Whenever you're going out and you're doing your vacations, these are hopefully some helpful hints.
I hope so.
That help you get through your film shooting vacation trip.
Right. So I'm about to go on another trip. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll be back by the time this one airs. And I'm just wondering what kind of film cameras I should be taking with me. I mean, I really want to take my 200 to 500 lens, but that might be a little bit too big for my bag.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I would love to take it, though.
Yeah. And if you check something like that in, and since you can't lock your bags, it may wind up missing.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to pack it in the check-in luggage. No, because no, I love that lens far too much for that. But the last thing I noticed, you gave me this poor unloved Holga S that you want me, and I love the fact that it's got a hussy and hussy photographers.
Yeah.
I love that on the back of this. It's like I hate to remove a tag like that. That's so beautiful, but I'm gonna have to. So.
Let's see. That's because that has an address with it too. Yeah.
I know, but still, it's kind of it's gonna have to go, but it's kind of nice.
And tape over the back end of for the.
Oh yeah, that's so. So Todd is giving me that now. Todd, you did sell the other one.
Yes,
you
the two-tone.
The two-tone model. So I'm going to
finally though. I mean, it's like it took a while, but I mean, it's like I could have sold 2 of them. It's always happened. They'll sit up here for 6 months, and then all of a sudden 3 people want it in one day.
So this is the second Holga that I've been given today, actually. However, I'm going to give this one a cleaning, and I'm going to give it a little bit of paint job, and I'm going to bring it right back here. It's not going to be two-tone gray and black. It's going to be black and some other color. Yep. And it's going to be up here at the shop for sale. So
for Holga Week to buy and use for Holga Week.
For Holga Week. So if you guys think you want to have one of these, you might want to say, hey Todd, next time Mr. Holga makes one of these, put my name on the list.
Right.
And you will probably be one of the first people to know that when this thing comes back. It's probably be a couple weeks, but it's coming back.
Yep. It will. And as we said,
the shutter sounds good.
We're only 4 months away from Holga Week 2022.
That's right.
Now, why that is important?
It's always important.
It's always, exactly. Why it's especially important is because we, Don's Used Photo Equipment, are the international, intergalactic, world headquarters for Holga Week. And until anybody proves it different, that's what we are.
He's absolutely correct. He is. Yeah. It is. This is the place. This is ground zero for Holga Week.
It is indeed. And it's only 4 weeks away. So I know we don't want to really be pushing things like that, but we are. So like, subscribe, tell friends, tell everybody.
Definitely tell friends.
And prepare for Holga Week 2022. It's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now I normally say those lines myself, since I don't have to because he said all these things. I'm just going to remind you guys to share.
I stole his lines.
He stole my lines. Now I don't know what to say. But I tell you what, we're going to call it a day, guys, and I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, take care. Thanks. Have a fun trip out there, and take a lot of film pictures.
Take film.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
Gotta get more film.
Yeah, I mean, so
I'm going to be close to Route 66, believe it or not.
And but after we turn this off, you're going to be buying lots of film for your next trip.
Absolutely, more film.
More film.